We've basically told a great generation of young women, don't get married, don't have kids, go get a corporate job, and it's created mass political hysteria. And then in their early 30s, they get really upset because they say, you know, the boys don't want to date me anymore because they're not at their prime. And people get mad when I say that. Well, it's just true. If you're in your early 30s, I'm sorry. It's like you're not as attractive in the dating pool as you were in the early 20s. But again, you have your corporate job and cats, so I thought you know.
As an obvious sex symbol and masculine god, Charlie Kirk has thoughts on the attractiveness of other people. Now, during an event hosted by his organization, Turning Point Faith, I guess there's like different offshoots. So Turning Point Faith, Kirk was, this is what you're talking about during your faith discussion? This is what you're talking about, Charlie? Really?
I mean, downing on suppressing women, kind of a big part of a lot of faith traditions.
So he was opining on why women tend to vote for Democrats, which is a question he ironically answered with his own offensive answer. So in one breath, Kirk triumphantly declared that young men are the most conservative they've been in 50 years before averring that young ladies present a great opportunity because they are not conservative. So he was asked, like, why is that? And lucky for us, he shared his deep, profound analysis.
There's a couple reasons for this. Abortion is obviously part of it, but they've been sold a lie through culture, through media, through even some of their parents that you basically have to go pursue this corporate trajectory and that men are always the problem and suppress your biological impulses. A lot of them are on birth control too, and birth control like really screws up female brains, by the way. Every single one of you need to make sure that your loved ones are not on birth control. It increases depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. Birth control is the #1 most prescribed medication for young ladies under the age of 25. They will give young ladies birth control for pimples, for acne, to control their moods, their period. It is awful, it's terrible, and it creates very angry and bitter young ladies and young women. That bitterness then manifests into a political party that is the bitter party. I mean, the Democrat Party is all about bring us your bitterness and we'll give you free stuff. It's like we'll trade you bitterness for stuff. Essentially, that's like the Democrat Party.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
Okay, so he posits that birth control pills make women bitter and angry. Just hold that thought. We're gonna go back to that in just a moment because Charlie Kirk never presents himself as bitter or angry, right? Always a calm,
he wasn't bitter
cool,
there
collected,
at all.
Not at all, not at all. But I do wanna just quickly address birth control pills because look, the truth is birth control pills are artificial hormones that some women react fine to, other women don't have a good reaction to, right? So I don't wanna minimize that, and I do think it's still important to go see a doctor before getting prescribed birth control pills. I would never in a million years wanna outlaw birth control, but I also do not agree with some people who kind of have like this flippant attitude toward birth control because as someone who tried many different types of oral birth controls, I can say it did not work well for me and did lead to suicidal ideation. So I just want to be fair, but also accurate in talking about birth control because I don't want to minimize some of the side effects that some women might face. Now, let's get back to Charlie Kirk and his ridiculousness. Actually, before I do, John, any thoughts so far?
Yeah, no, look, obviously it does have side effects. I mean, there are actual professionals who study this stuff that try to teach people how to find the right one to use or whether they should use them at all. They're the sort of career professionals, many of whom are women, that he thinks should leave their careers and go back into the kitchen or whatever. He doesn't understand what you went through and fundamentally doesn't care what you went through. The issue is that those who are attacking birth control most publicly are people like him and a couple of women who are desperate to be brought into shows like that go way beyond the actual side effects that are experienced and pretend that, like Charlie Kirk, it's the font of all evil. And so, yeah, I understand why some people might, in reaction, be defensive and be hesitant to acknowledge any concerns because they know that this is being used as a pretext to outlaw it entirely.
Exactly. So thank you for saying that, because that's absolutely true, and that's the whole reason why Charlie Kirk is talking about birth control pills during Turning Point Faith. He also said no Christian parent should ever allow their daughter on birth control ever, period. If your daughter's on birth control or granddaughter, get them off immediately. How about you get off people's asses about personal decisions?
What also happened to parents' rights? If it's your granddaughter, screw the parents, I'm not allowing it.
Charlie's solution to the issue that Republicans are facing with women and the lack of support from female voters is to basically get those ugly 30-something-year-olds married and basically knock them up. He said, quote, "What's amazing is once they get married, they become 50-50. Once they have kids, they become like right wing by 20 points. And so the issue is that we're not having enough kids in this country." Expert analysis. People also become a little more conservative as they get older because they've got a little more skin in the game, right? They're likely to own a property, for instance, and maybe they
not
don't
likely
want
anymore, thanks to people like Charlie Kirk and his political movement.
Right.
Kind of screwed yourself over on that.
Right. And yeah, I do think like for some people, having kids could make them a little more conservative, but for a lot of people, it doesn't change their politics at all.
Yeah, and it can manifest in different people in different ways.
Right.
Like, I don't think having a kid has made me socially more conservative, but I do support a flat tax now. Anyway, so look, the whole thing is ridiculous. We're supposed to go to this guy for his political expertise. When he starts with the question, why are women less conservative than men? And then he rants for like a solid 10 minutes that they're ugly and bitter and their eggs are dried up. I don't know, maybe there are other reasons why they don't want to be a part of your political movement. Maybe you're advocating for even more of their rights to be stripped away after successfully stripping away rights that they'd had their entire lives. Maybe there are some pretty significant fundamental reasons that they don't like you.
Finally, I want to get to the allegations of bitterness and anger among Democratic women.
Yeah.
Which is quite a claim coming from Charlie Kirk. Because if Charlie Kirk were like, let's say, Coleman Hughes, one of the calmest people I've ever heard from. You have no idea who Coleman Hughes is, it's okay. He's a very calm guy who recently wrote a book.
Is he on Euphoria? I don't know, I can't keep up with things anymore.
He has a podcast, actually.
Oh, okay, there you go.
No, but Charlie Kirk is not like Coleman Hughes, not even close. Charlie Kirk is usually not so calm and seems to have some difficulty keeping his facial twitches under control. Let's watch.
I would ask, Charlie, do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? I never liked Larry David, but here you are, you're trying to book Charlie Kirk. And you think that, me seeing pronouns in the bio is gonna make me say, you know what, I'm gonna make time on a weekend that that I could be spending with my precious daughter because of your pronoun signaling to me. Like, no, go find somebody else. That doesn't mean that we're now going to give up, but there is a moment where today you must grieve. You must acknowledge and admit this is nasty, this is ghastly, this is disgusting, and this is wrong. Because if we lose, they're going to come after the churches. They're going to come after the organizations. They're going to come after the people. They're going to come after the social media accounts. They're going to come after the bank accounts. They're going to come after every single person that played any form and role into trying to defend President Trump. Charlie? I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year. Hold on. What's my salary? Less than his.
Charlie, take a seat.
Come on, Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
what are you doing?
Take a seat. Psycho?
I practice what I preach, Cenk.
Charlie.
You do not practice what you preach.
Charlie.
Gotta love American politics.
Cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, 100%.
To be fair, he was provoked by our very own Cenk Uygur, who does not brag about being a calm guy.
No, not often.
Seems to enjoy his, notorious branding of pretty animated individual.
Yeah, Cenk had that calm body posture.
Listen,
I'd get worked up, but
let people live, okay? Just let people live.
Yeah, let people live.
And let women make decisions about their own health and their own bodies with their doctor.
Yeah.
That's it. There are other issues in the country that I think deserve a lot more attention than what kind of birth control pills women are taking.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.